That's okay. Do you mean move that?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Well, it's so white.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm going to share.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's better if I'm further back. Eh?
Yes.
I think so. It's so bright.
I'm just like a pink blob.
Okay.
I got the notification you're live on YouTube.
I'm just going to share on Instagram, you guys. We are now live.
Whoa.
What are you doing?
Whoa.
Yeah. Just give me a moment. Say hello. Say hello. Let me know. Let me know where you are watching from. In the chat if you would like. If you don't want to, that's okay. Is joining me. I somehow can't even use both.
Whoa, 7 people.
Type. I can't use both my thumbs. Hello. Oh, New York.
Wow.
That's cool.
8 people. Good morning.
Good
Tina,
morning.
watching from the Philippines. I love all your videos.
Woo! I love it. All right. Sorry, guys. Give me a moment. I'm trying to post.
Watching from Tokyo.
Yes. I'm kind of jealous. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, me too.
Where's that link in bio? Oh wait.
Watching from Sydney. Hi from Melbourne.
Yes. Fellow Melburnian. Love it.
Los Angeles. Dang, this is like the world map. Coming together. Toronto, Canada.
Where's Kim from again?
Have you watched Kim's Convenience Store? Is that what it's called?
I think it's just Kim's Convenience.
Kim's Convenience.
Yeah. We've been obsessed per my mum's recommendation actually. And we've been liking that a lot.
Love Kim's.
Yes.
Other name is literally Toronto Viewer.
That's awesome. Okay, so I did that. Sorry, guys. Not technical difficulties.
I have to keep you all entertained until she's ready to go.
I'm ready. Wait, link in the bio. Well, that's a bit big.
I was going to start talking about Kim's, but I feel like it's going to become a tangent.
Yeah, probably.
Dance monkey? Are you calling me a monkey?
All right. So I just posted on my Insta. Hello, you guys. Welcome to the stream. So I decided to do this today because initially I was actually going to film a video on this. But I thought it would be kind of interesting to do a live stream, catch up with you guys and see how the situation is all over the world. Before we go into it, I was just going to apologize for the quality of the video. I am doing it off my laptop, which God knows how old it is, probably 6 or 7 years at this point. So that's that. But I actually promised myself I'm going to get myself a new laptop when I hit 20k subscribers, which I'm not too far from. So if you are not subscribed already, I would really, really appreciate it if you could subscribe just to motivate me to buy myself a new laptop because I really, really need it.
She really does.
Trust me, I need it. I can't even export my videos for YouTube.
Her laptop sounds like a plane taking off.
I literally sit it on the tiles of the kitchen so it doesn't overheat. That's how old it is. So please subscribe if you haven't already. We would really appreciate it. And yeah, we're going to get into it and talk about 2020 and what it has been thus far, which it honestly feels like a year that isn't counting at this point. We're in September now. And I can't even remember what month it is. It's all just a massive blur. Obviously because of COVID-19. I know you guys also want to talk a lot about beauty, which I totally understand. And I do plan on doing more live streams. And if you maybe do like a Q&A, like a general Q&A and stuff. We've got some people on the same page with old laptops. I love it. But yeah, I'll probably do another video on that, like Q&A and beauty and stuff. But today's video is generally going to be about the pandemic and how we're all dealing and things like that, and just kind of like a check-in, because right now we live in Melbourne, Australia, which some of you may know, some of you may not know. And basically, some people are calling our lockdown at the moment one of the longest and toughest lockdowns in the world. Obviously, that's per perspective, and I'm not going to like say we are in the toughest lockdown. Yeah. Personally, I don't think so. I know a lot of other countries have dealt with a lot more. And I have some notes. I have written notes for today. Well, you can't even see because it's so bright and the laptop quality. But basically, we are in week 7 of hopefully it's finishing next week, 8-week lockdown, of hard lockdown, strict lockdown. And
well, I mean, for anybody about the lockdown, like our lockdown is a full-on like all retail shops.
Yeah, I'll get into that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I know a lot of people have been in lockdown since March. Damn. See, that's like tough.
Yeah. And
I know a lot of people have had a really, really tough year, and I'm not gonna lie, I have too. I think it's been not that bad. Like I'm not gonna deny it. It's not bad compared to a lot of other people. But for me, I actually thought 2020 might be our best year yet. If you guys didn't know already, me and Logan have been together for 4.5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been in long distance the whole time since we started dating. So for 4 years of our relationship, the start of our relationship, we were in long distance. Initially, it was between Australia and America, and then it was between Japan and America, and then it was between Australia and America again because I lived in Japan for a couple of years. And so this was the first year that we actually got to be together, like actually, not for like a few weeks at a time. And yeah, it was like...
What do they say? Wow,
so handsome boyfriend. But yeah, it was the first time
it's the camera quality. So.
It was the first time we were going to be able to be together. So we had high hopes for 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, things kind of went to shit. So I feel like in Australia, at least, or pretty much the whole world, everything kind of started to crumble at the start of March.
Mm-hmm.
The start of March was when everything started to happen. And Logan arrived in Australia on the 13th of March.
Mm-hmm.
On the 15th of March, all travelers had to self-isolate for 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 days after.
Literally 2 days.
2 days after Logan arrived, people had to self-isolate. It didn't really matter for Logan because he wasn't really going anywhere. Basically, he came here and we didn't really go anywhere and stuff. So it didn't really matter in that sense. And then on March 19th, all non-Australians were banned from entering the country. So you had to be a citizen or a permanent resident.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 6 days after Logan arrived.
Yeah.
So
and I will say, like, when I was taking off from California, all they did was walk around and ask you if you'd been to Italy.
It was Italy, China, South Korea,
and if you've been on the Ruby Princess cruises.
Mm-hmm.
And they literally would just ask you, and you just be like, no, I haven't. And then that's it. They would move on to the next person. They wouldn't even like test your temperature or do any kind of test that way. That was it. Just ask you a few questions and
yeah. And that
You were
was
good to
it.
go.
And that was like, it was already kind of everywhere, but
Yeah.
there was no strict anything. It didn't take you that long to get through
No, not at all.
immigration or anything. But yeah, legit, if we had taken a flight a week later, he wouldn't be here right now, which scares the absolute crap out of me because I don't know how I would have survived this without Logan. But yeah, that's how it started. And essentially, since then, Logan has only known life in Australia in Corona.
Yeah.
So if you look at the bigger picture, because as I was saying, like our lockdowns are pretty strict, but in numbers, it's not that bad. I looked at these numbers a couple days ago, so it will be different right now, but I can't really be bothered getting it up and getting the exact numbers. So on the 14th of September, Australia had pretty much 26.5 active cases, so 26,000 cases. And then the US is sitting on about 6.4 million cases. So that's like terrifying. And then just through my perspective, the other country I'm going to compare to is Japan, just because that's what I know. And Japan's on 75,200. So like US, let's put it aside, it is a very big country. But even compared to Japan, we're on 26,000 cases and Japan's on 75,000. So obviously Japan's almost triple?
Yeah.
So, and Japan hasn't faced any restrictions as of yet, I believe. If you're watching from Tokyo, that person, please let us know if there is anything. The governor has already said we would have to go back into lockdown. I wonder what country that is. Oh no, I think that's Cali.
Yeah, they're talking about California.
Yeah. But I think the only thing in Japan was they were like, we would prefer it if you stayed home kind of thing. But it was up to the individual. There wasn't any like fines or like, what's the word? Bad things happen
like
to
ramifications.
You.
I don't know.
Like none of that would happen essentially. So just putting it in perspective, like our case numbers are not that high compared to most countries for the size we are and for the restrictions we are under at the moment, I guess. So I'm going to go from the first lockdown. And yeah, when Logan arrived, there was no like lockdown put in place at that time. But at the end of March, on March 30, I believe the dates might be like slightly off. They announced we're going into stage 3 lockdown in Victoria. Sorry, my voice is like a little shaky. I think I'm nervous and also like reliving
You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job.
So sorry if my voice is a little shaky. I'm kind of like.
Well, we can take in a little bit if you want. If you want to take a second, we can like go through and just see what other people are talking about.
Or maybe we'll have a look before I go into like explaining first lockdown, just because it might be a little longer.
We can.
Canada, I feel like here in Canada, we feel like a cute apartment living above a massive orange.
Talking about America.
Really want to travel for a grad trip. Yeah, I really want to go back to Japan, honestly. I really want to see my family and friends. I think that's the hardest part for people who have family overseas or even in other states and stuff. I know right now in Australia, you can't even do interstate travel unless you have like a very good reason. And even with that, have you seen some of the news articles? There was like a girl who wanted to go see her dad who was like
there's been
dying,
some very sad,
and they like accepted the like okay for it like 3 days after he passed. And it's like
I've seen a lot of those.
And like surely, and like especially here, like where she wanted to travel, there was actually more cases where she wanted to travel than when she was coming from.
Yeah.
And it's like she's not going to bring anything. There's no active cases, but it's just like the whole politics side of it is like a whole nother thing. But rather have lockdowns than deaths. Exactly.
Ontario is spiking in cases again.
I think a lot of places, I think our spike hit pretty quickly for us here, but I know a lot of European countries even are now going into like a second. I'd
rather have lockdown than deaths. 1,000,000,000% agree with that.
Like, I think the biggest thing that's frustrating for like, well, for me at least, for us is like yeah, of course, we'd love to go out, and especially Logan, like he hasn't done anything essentially. Like we only like I can count how many times we ate out even. Would like to go for a walk and stuff, but like none of it's worth like people dying over this thing. Like
not at all.
So yeah, Vidal. No, that's her name.
I haven't seen my partner since March 14th. Yeah.
Places are open back up, even though I think it's still too early. California's spiking. Scares me about California because it was so bad at the first wave. If it happens again, like
also them saying some people still don't take anything serious. Like that's a lot of having lived in Florida. I know talking to a lot of people I know from there. Like cases are going up all the time, and yet people just go out, no masks on, just act like it's nothing, whatever.
Yeah, like people are traveling throughout the country for fun.
Yeah.
Went to visit family back in his home country in March. Wasn't able to fly back to the US until last month. Yeah.
We came home in January from Singapore. No questions at the airport.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you don't even know if you had it, like, back in January and stuff. Yeah. That's what's scary. There's just so much we don't know about this thing. But, I guess everyone's kind of feeling my thumb.
You want to tell them about your thumb?
I think most people, if anyone saw my story, I'm a little bit of a cripple right now because I somehow got like a T-razor while shaving my legs, and then I dug into the surface of my nail. So that's my situation right now, and it's feeling a little like numb, I think.
It's probably just being nervous about being on
camera.
Please, the thumb story.
I honestly don't know how to do it. Wait, I'll show you guys. I actually don't know if it'll show on camera. I drew up a picture for my friend because she asked like what happened. Oh, you can kind of see it. You can see it pretty well, actually. It's in Japanese, but essentially, this is my thumbnail. I cut it, and this part was cut and was bleeding, and then this part is still connected on my nail.
She said, I've done that before.
Wow, so I'm not the only one. That makes me feel okay. I just don't know how it happened. It like happened so quickly, and then I
thought she'd cut her thumb off.
I was putting hair treatment in, and I did it, and then I held my thumb, and I was like, baby, because he was out here. And yeah, but that's the story. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the first lockdown in... Mira's responding to the thumb.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what?
You have to do what you have to do to protect people, my mom. Yeah.
Exactly.
Very true.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest scary things as well. Like my grandparents, they live in Chiba, right out of Tokyo. They are in their mid-80s, so they are like prime for, And I don't think, like, honestly, they barely go out anyway. They only go out to, like, get groceries and go to the doctors. And from what I'm hearing from my mum, they're okay. But, like, I'm just scared, like, if anything happened to them.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right.
Anyway. Yeah, so talking about the lockdown in Melbourne, so we went into our first lockdown, stage 3 lockdown at the end of March at 67 cases, which is like mind-blowing to me. Yeah. So they decided to go into lockdown at 67 cases in, I think it was all of Australia, not even Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
So that puts you in perspective. I know for a lot of people in a lot of countries, you're probably like 67 cases. That's like nothing. I was talking to one of my co-workers, and she said, because she's from the Philippines, they had like 200 cases within one company or like one business, and like 67 cases is nothing. And now, it seems like nothing to us as well. But they decided to go into stage 3, which meant that non-essential businesses were closed and that you should only leave your house for 4 reasons, which were to get groceries, get your exercise, receive and give care, and then to study or work. They also said you can't visit people, like visit other homes, and then you also can't have more than 2 people gathered outside, I believe. Honestly, the rules have changed so much and so many times that I might not be accurate in my information. I was trying to like backtrack on the government websites, but there's so much new information of like the current lockdown, so I can't say for sure that they were the exact rules, but I believe that's what they were. And for some reason, even though you should only leave the house to go shopping for groceries, retail stores were still open, and even though they're non-essential, they were considered okay to stay open. I do work in retail, so my store stayed open and I continued to work. I will say it was pretty pointless. I work in a shopping center, and pretty much like 90 to 95% of retail stores were closed, even though they were allowed to stay open. Basically, it was just pointless. There wasn't enough customers in the center shopping, like, as you shouldn't be anyway, because like literally the government said you shouldn't be shopping other than it's for groceries, yet they have retail stores open. So it was just contradicting what they were saying. So obviously people weren't shopping. A lot of people thought we were closed, but I was working every day. Annyeong. There's someone from Korea maybe. And yeah, and I will say for me, the first lockdown was way harder because I was working and I had to leave every day. I do have to take public transport because I don't drive. So, yeah, it was kind of scary and I wasn't used to it. So I was definitely very, very paranoid with everything. Like if I touch something and then I was like touching my hair or something, I'll be like, wait, did I wash my hands or did I sanitize my hands? Or like, you have to be super conscious with what you touch and all that. And I definitely got really paranoid in just being out of the house. And the way I felt inside the house and outside the house was very, very different. Once I was home, I felt really, really safe. It was crazy that I could just like touch everything and not worry about it. And when I was at work or outside, like I had to worry about everything. Like I think just customers coming in as well. Like there were still, it was very limited, but there were still customers coming in, and some people don't quite understand the social distancing thing. So they would like ask me for help and be pretty close to me, and I'm like,
yeah,
you know.
Well, there's that fine line of like being a good employee and being respectful to them, but still being a human.
Oh yeah, I will say New Zealand's Prime Minister, I don't remember her name to be totally honest.
Dude,
but
she killed it.
She killed it like amazing. I am completely jealous of anyone in New Zealand. I was like, can she lead us too? But like I do think that's how we should have been dealt by a lot more leaders. And if he was dealt with more seriously, I think a lot of places would be out of this already, which it's going to still be a very, very long time until we're out of it. But that's how I felt. And how did you feel during first lockdown?
I think more just worried about you. Like for me, it didn't really affect anything I was doing per se, other than just like not being able to, when we wanted to, you had a day off, like we couldn't go to the city, we couldn't do that sort of thing. I wasn't able to experience anything that I came to Australia to experience, but it wasn't as big of a deal. I just more worried about her, and worried about, I think I was so like cognizant of checking the news to see what was happening, and every day I was kind of afraid that like I would see, oh, case pops up, you know, where she's working or something.
Which we had. There was cases like a couple 100 meters down from my store.
Yeah. And I think that worried me the most. I don't think otherwise, like it's hard. I don't want to sound insensitive about it, but like it didn't really affect me too much, just because I couldn't, it was hard to get a job. So, oh, sorry, baby.
My thumb.
Oh.
No, it's okay.
So yeah, other than that, you know, mostly just worried about you.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Because Logan basically just stayed at home. As most countries, unemployment has spiked like it never has before. Logan's been here for 6 months.
6 months.
Has been unable to find a job so far. And it is hard because I know they were saying, I don't know if these stats are still true, but I remember seeing an article like a couple months ago that they were saying like 1 in 7 Australians will be unemployed by Christmas, which is like terrifying. And obviously in the current situation, they're going to prioritize giving jobs to Aussies, probably, just assuming. So yeah, so baby just stayed at home.
Yep.
And during that time, I did take a few weeks off because, one, I didn't see the point of really being at work. Two, I was just scared being out all the time and having to like be around it all. And then also I had a lot of annual leave and we were planning to go to Japan at the end of the year, but we assumed at this point it wasn't probably going to happen. So I was like, what's the point of keeping my annual leave? So I decided to take some of my annual leave and take some time off. I think I took about 3 to 4 weeks off. I took like a week off, went back for a few days, and then took another 3 weeks off because I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this.
Oh, wait. How's your guys' mental? That is the only thing I will say, as being somebody that does have a lot of anxiety, and I was a little bit of a hypochondriac, whatever you want to call it, with cleaning before this even started. I think that
cleaner
was
than me.
I think that was another thing I just worried about was you think about like, have I got everything clean? Like you even just walk, like I would walk with her down to the bus. And when I would come back, it's like, you think about, what did I touch? Did I touch anything? Did I, this and that? And that is, so anybody, and like her going out to work, I was very proud of her, even though it's scary, but to be able to go out and still deal with people and still, be in the public is incredible. So.
But look, it's like a definite pro being a germaphobe at this point. Yeah. Like, I think most people are probably thinking that now, like the thing about this virus is it's not that stubborn in the sense that you can't get it off with washing your hands, and not even like antiseptic soap. Like if you just wash your hands with soap, you get it off. Like it's not that stubborn, but it just shows that if you're not clean, it will get you. So it's like, just if everyone was more like Logan, possibly we wouldn't have as many cases. But I think it's like a good freaking life lesson to just be clean. I remember when, like, generally growing up, yes, I was told, but like when I went to visit my grandparents in Japan, it was definitely more evident, or like, I think I can say Japanese people are more clean, at least from my experience to Australians. No offense, no nothing. I mean, I think I have the right to say it. But like the fact that, yeah, Japan has more cases than Australia, but to think about how many more people are there and how much more congested it is, like the case numbers could be a lot higher, I think. But I remember like whenever I'd go visit my grandparents, they'd always be like, wash your hands and gargle every time you come home. Like if I came home and didn't do anything, they'd be like, did you? And I'd be like, no. And like I would wash my hands in general, but like gargling, I didn't really do it unless I was there. But they like always told me to do that. And I think like, yes, I should probably listen to them because pandemic. But yeah, so that was stage 3, which actually lasted 2 months. And that's when panic buying was huge. That was a huge thing in Australia, and it was a huge thing everywhere. But apparently the stats showed that Australians were the number 1 country that panic bought toilet paper, which is just like
per person, it was like the most, which is crazy.
And I think we bought like 1 pack while all of it happened. Like 1 pack of, it was like 12 rolls. Yeah. And I think I've bought 1 pack since the start of March with 2 people. Like you don't need that much toilet paper. And I don't know what people are doing with this. Like they must be like putting their food on it to eat, or like wiping their whole house with toilet paper. I just don't know. I don't know what people are doing with toilet paper, but it was ridiculous. Like that was the number 1 thing that sold out, and it was out for a while. It was hard to get toilet paper. I remember during stage 3, the initial stage 3, when I was heading into work at like 8, like I would see people coming from the grocery stores and every single person had a pack of toilet paper, because like at that point they put a limit on it. but like everyone was going first thing in the morning to get a pack of toilet paper, and literally every single person walking past had a pack of toilet paper.
Dried pasta too.
Dried pasta, yeah. So yeah, that was the next. Pasta sauce, flour, and then meat also was unavailable for a little while. I have one video. I actually only took one video through the whole thing, I think, of when like panic buying was a thing. I need to pee.
You good?
Yeah, I'll get you to show. Maybe I'll get you to show the video because the screen looked.
Okay.
Do you know how to
play it?
I don't think it's at the start of it. But
it's not. Here, I'll
yeah, Logan will show you guys. This is our local grocery store.
And this is...
So many people are hoarding skincare. That's so funny. See, that's one problem I will never have. I have plenty of skincare. But...
In Canada, they are giving everyone $2,000 a month so people can at least cover rent and food, but life is still on hold. Yeah, that's something.
That's something we'll talk about that later. I'm gonna go.
Wait, do you want me to talk about what, like, being American? What I got? Can I talk about that already, or do you have that in your?
I do have it here, but you can. Oh no, maybe it was on the back. Nah, you can talk about that actually. You talk about America's side of things, and I'll talk about Australia's side of things when I come back. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom real quick, you guys. I had too much water, and don't judge my trackies because I am wearing trackies.
Here, I'll show them that video first. All right, so this is the video. This starts in the bread aisle and goes down to eggs, and then you'll see meat, like all the meat and poultry and all that at the end of it. So hopefully you can see this. It was just all completely empty. And it was like that for a while too. Like we would even go pretty early in the day and it would just be sold out all the time. Let's see. Oh, Canada, $2,000. So I guess she's gonna talk about it a little bit, but I did still receive the first like stimulus check that they sent out to Americans. I guess first and only. So, that helped out a little bit with me, but it's like, you know, I don't know how somebody in America, say, that has an apartment or has this and doesn't have their job. Like I have Tina at least to support me, but I can't imagine being in the situation. You know, some of my friends, at least as well, are lucky enough that they have families that can support them. But somebody who is trying to survive off of, what was it, 1,200?
I'm pretty sure so.
It's insane to me.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that they said, you know, part of the reason they didn't want to send another one out is they wanted to motivate people to go work. And I was like, I can't believe that, you know, that's incredible to me.
Yeah. So the $2,000 a month in Canada, I actually didn't know that. That's pretty good.
The biggest thing they said is it's not taxed, so people will have to pay back a bunch next year.
Right. So in Australia, we have had quite a bit of support. I'm not going to lie. I feel very lucky, especially like being with someone who's, you know, that's the sitch. I'm sorry. It's so bright, you guys. I don't think there's anything I can do. No, should I pull that down? No.
Give me a try.
Maybe a little bit.
Which one?
Right in your armpit. I don't know.
Hopefully you guys can't smell that.
I'm sweating a little bit. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm a little sweaty. It's not even that hot, but just
see if that's better. Now it seems too dark.
Now it's like just light on the face, so we'll just leave it. I am bringing home the bacon. Damn right.
Is this better or worse?
Let us know. I think this is actually better.
Okay.
Maybe it is darker, but it's not like whiting out our faces. Oh, it's Lisa. It's my best friend from my childhood.
Oh, okay.
Lisa.
Yeah. What is she?
She said Tina.
Tina.
But yeah, so in Australia, first thing they did was when it initially hit, there was a big like a lot of people lost their jobs, so there was quite a big unemployment rate initially, and to support those people they had I think it's job seeker payment, which was for anyone who lost a job. You did have to be Australian citizen or permanent resident. It wasn't provided for people on visas or like student visas, and it was $1,200 a fortnight to like help you survive while you were looking for a job. So that's why it's job seeker, I guess. You're seeking a job, but you haven't found one yet. So you were receiving $1,200 a fortnight, so every 2 weeks, before tax. So we're getting taxed on these. And they had job keeper payments, which were for companies to pay their employees. So that's essentially what I am on. At that time, I don't know if initially we weren't, because the company does have to qualify and they have to basically prove that they were 30% down on sales from the previous year. So they had to prove that. And if they did qualify, they had $1,500 per fortnight per employee, which is a really big amount. So that's like $3,000 a month. And the thing that kind of was like a little, I don't know what the word is, but basically it was for part-timers and full-timers, and then casual employees. I know it works different in every country. So basically in Australia, full-time is like full 40-hour week, like you're there 5 days a week, 9-5 kind of thing. Part-time can vary. Basically, it's just like if you are contracted a specific amount of hours per week. So it could be 10, it could be 30, but basically you are contracted and you are definitely going to get those hours. And then casuals are just, they're not guaranteed any hours. So they're not contracted to have any hours. Usually they employ them more during Christmas. So you might get like 30 hours during Christmas time and then 3 like for the rest of the year or something. So it's very like, nah. But essentially full-timers, part-timers, and then casuals who had been employed at the company for over a year were going to get this $1,500, which like it's great. But basically someone who was working 40 hours a week and someone who was working 5 hours a week were getting like the same amount-ish. Unless you were earning more as a full-timer, which like, I don't know, it depends on your job, but like I was earning, wait, I probably shouldn't say but basically like if you earned more than that, the company like would bury that balance, I guess. But if you earned less than that, you still got that full $1,500, which is amazing. So most of the we didn't really have casuals, but all the part-timers were working like a lot less hours, but getting $1,500 a fortnight, which is like amazing. Obviously, they were getting more money than they usually would. So I think because of that, they have now changed the rules from next month, I believe. And it's going to be in tiers. Like if you work this many hours, you get this much. If you work this many hours, you get this much kind of thing. So they did change it. They said it was because they just needed to roll out a plan quickly and they couldn't get the details done.
Which like honestly is good that they got something done.
I'm very grateful that they did something this quick. I get DCM. That's so cool. So I applied for job seeker. Luckily, I get to work from home now. That's so good.
What is DCM?
It's like the company who does The Ordinary and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's so cool. I didn't know that. And yeah, so that's how Australia dealt with it, which I think is pretty good. Like at least no one has to really worry about being able to support themselves or live. Although I will say for people who are on visas or student visas, it is very hard because there's no real compensation for that. But I know there's been like one-off payments you can get, and like they have definitely provided a lot of options to be able to support yourself. I know it's changing from next month because to qualify you have to be down 50% now, and I don't know if my company, where I work for, can or not. But that was how Australia dealt with it, and I think that's pretty good, especially compared to some other countries. Yeah, I think the tier thing is probably smarter. Like, in the end, I would rather people have more money than need, obviously, like to have some form of support, but it is kind of hard to, especially for me, if I'm working full time and getting like about the same amount as people who are working like 10, 15 hours a week. It is hard to kind of be like, like work your ass off. So, can I just hold on?
Okay, they sound like they're about to just do what we did here.
Canada?
Yeah.
I was able to be paid my usual wage. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Same as me right now. I'm actually only working 1 day a week at the moment and getting the support from Job Seeker. So I'm getting a little less than what I usually would, but I'm only working 1 day a week. And yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So that was stage 3. And so we went out of stage 3 at the start of June 1st. And it was kind of like the new normal, I guess. Like, restaurants reopened. They had limited capacity, obviously, but things were mostly back to normal, except for the fact that stores had capacity limits, and obviously everywhere you had to do like social distancing and things like that. There was no mask implements or anything at the time either. I was generally wearing a mask though. I think so was Logan whenever we went out, just out of cautiousness. And retail got super busy. I'm not gonna lie. We had, I think, our busiest day in between the 2 lockdowns, and it was as busy, or if not more busy, than Black Friday last year, which is like ridiculous. So everyone was obviously like holding in their shopping desires, and it was insane. Like, the shopping center I worked at was so busy, and there was queues in front of every store because of the limits, and it was kind of like ridiculous because they had limits capacity to enter the store, so you would have to line up outside the store, but then the queues will get so long and they'd like run into each other, and then people wouldn't be social distancing, and I'm like, what's the point? Like, it was kind of like ridiculous. But anyway, as you would probably assume, yes, the cases started to rise very, very drastically, and it was specifically Victoria, Melbourne in Australia. I know the first wave, I'm pretty sure Sydney had more cases than us.
I think it started
that Sydney had more.
I think they jumped off. If somebody was here from Sydney, so correct us if we're wrong, but I think they started off, like, took a lead at the beginning, and then I don't know, somewhere along that between point, Victoria just went.
Yeah, so it was just Victoria, I'm not gonna lie. There was a couple cases in the other states, but some of the states have been corona free for like a few weeks, months at this point. And yeah, we were just waiting for it. We were just waiting for the lockdown again, honestly. And it did only last just over a month. So we went out of lockdown on June 1st, and then on July 7th, so like a month and a week, they announced they were going back into stage 3. And this time they announced it when the cases were 191. So the first time they went into lockdown, it was 67 cases and they decided to go into lockdown. And then the second time they waited till 191 cases to go in lockdown. And during the first wave, the peak was 111. The peak, the highest day was 111. And this time we were only going into lockdown at 191. So that's how this lockdown started off. And then a couple weeks later into stage 3. So it was basically the same as the first lockdown. Most non-essential places were closed. Retail was still open. You were getting on the spot fines of $1,600. So $1,600 on the spot fine if you were going against the rules, I guess. And then a few weeks later, face coverings became mandatory whenever you were outside. And this was like, I guess, like a little bit, not controversial, but some people were upset about. But I'm like, at this point, it's a piece of material on your face. And even Mr. Andrews was saying that it doesn't even have to be a mask. You can wrap a scarf around your face, which I don't know about
Bandana,
that.
scarf.
Bandana, anything.
They even said you could pull your They were like, if you have a long, whatever they were saying, it was fine to just pull it up over your face.
Which some people are definitely doing.
Yeah.
They still are
Yeah.
doing. But that became mandatory. And
I'm gonna go sit in the
then
bathroom real quick.
Sure.
I'll be back.
Okay. Sydney has better contact tracing. I don't doubt that, because honestly, the contact tracing in Melbourne's been. But yeah, so masks became mandatory, and if you weren't wearing a mask, you could get a on the spot $200 fine. So I think something that Australia does is fine people for things with money, which I think like is a pretty good tactic, because I think to most people, money is the most important thing. Maybe not the most important, but a lot of people do care about money versus other things. So if you were wearing a mask, you got a $200 fine. If you were breaking other rules, you got a $1,600 fine. So $1,600. I know there was a huge article about these group of people at 2 a.m. KFC received a order for about 20 people. And so they were like, that's odd at 2 a.m., like an order for 20 people when you shouldn't have any people over at all at this point. And yeah, they tracked them, and I think it was like 16 people at a house having like a house party, and they ordered KFC, and every single one of those people got a $1,600 fine. I think the total was like $30,000 or something ridiculous. So that's how see, the KFC story is famous, but basically if you stuff up, you will have to pay for it literally in money here. So I think that I would like to say I think that worked, but they're still giving out quite a few fines, and there's still people who aren't like following the rules. So yeah, so that was masks became mandatory. And then finally on August 4th we went into stage 4 lockdown for 6 weeks. So stage 4 lockdown was definitely a lot stricter.
The KFC story.
Yeah, I told about the bunch of people in KFC and they all got a fine. Yeah. So stage 4, before we even properly went into stage 4, they instantly gave us a curfew that you are not allowed to leave the house between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. unless you have like a diary and like medical care, or I think technically work. I'm not sure, but we had a curfew of 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. If you were outside and did not have a legitimate reason, you would instantly get a fine. You were only allowed 1 hour of exercise a day outside. You were also only allowed 1 hour to shop a day, and only one person per household was allowed to go shop. So if it was me and Logan, only one of us was allowed to go to the grocery store to shop. And only for a maximum of 1 hour a day, and you can't do like multiple shops, I guess. And all retail finally all retail stores did close. So my workplace did close, although if the shop had to process online orders, like if the retail store was a store that you processed online orders to ship to people and customers, you were allowed to operate. You just had to have the doors closed. So no customers were coming in. You were just like doing online orders, which was what happened at my workplace because we do online orders from the store. So, but our doors were closed. And yes, actually only essential places were open, like pharmacies, healthcare, petrol, and grocers. And that was it. That was open. Another rule was you could only go exercise or shop within 5 kilometers of your house, which was probably, I think the curfew and the distance thing was probably the biggest thing. 5 kilometers is not a lot. I don't use a converter. How big is 5 kilometers? To Chadstone is
in
about
miles, or what do you say?
Yeah. I guess people who don't know.
Yeah, I got you. You can keep going. I'll hit them with the facts in a second.
LA had a curfew of you had to be home by 6 p.m.
Where did?
LA.
Oh wow.
Some people.
3 miles.
3 miles. So within 3 miles of your house, 5 kilometers of your house was all you could go to exercise or get groceries. So the whole 5G thing.
Bill Gates wants to inject us with chips.
Do you have the, looking for a polite word for it, the COVID deniers in Australia? In the US, it's absolutely nuts with conspiracy. Yeah, I think it's everywhere. I mean, maybe not everywhere, but in Australia, it's here.
It's
I don't
just
think
such a small.
Yeah, it's not as bad as America, obviously, but we've had some protests of not even, I don't think we've had any anti-mask ones, but we've had like get us out of lockdown ones.
Anti-lockdown.
Yeah.
We did see, like, the one day when we walked down on that wall, you'll see things like vax at your own risk or whatever and that stuff. So, but it's not America.
Yeah, no, nowhere near that. But yeah, it was pretty strict lockdown for, I think, the state we are in, although our peak, and hopefully this is the highest we will ever reach and not go into a third wave, but during the second wave, the peak was 721 versus the initial peak that was 111.
Yeah.
So we skyrocketed in cases in terms of Australia, and this was like essentially only Melbourne. Like the other states only had a couple cases at max. So yeah, I think the thing a lot of people don't get here is that it is very strict rules for the number of cases globally, if we compare ourselves globally. But to tell you the truth, I'm glad that they're taking it this seriously, because if we don't take it seriously, like, it's going to be here forever, like literally forever. And even though it's like the new normal, or we could live with it, which I understand we could, but I think the biggest thing for me is that we won't be able to travel. And that's kind of a big part of my life. And I grew up going back and forth from Japan like every year. And it is my second home. I live there. My family's there. So it is really hard for me to think that I won't be able to leave to go there till, like, who knows when. They have no prediction of really like when we will be able to have international travel. And especially being in an international relationship for like almost 5 years now, like Logan as well, like when you're going to be able to go back home or see your family, or, you know, that's really hard. So I definitely think we can live with it. It is a possibility, but I don't want to have to. And I know travel is like a big thing that is going to be restricted for a really long time. So yeah, I wish the US would do more too. It's just like, it's just scary. Like I see the numbers and I'm just like you got to do something. Yeah, it's scary. And yeah, Logan's family is of course there. His family is in Florida, so Florida is one of the worst right now. So it is really scary. Like his family is like mine, like us, very cautious. So I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think they're just tired of, it's a lot of negative energy. I think that's the biggest thing, like with them, is being in America, there's so much back and forth when like it should be a time people, you know, encourage each other and are more positive about it to get through it. But
does Logan know
yes.
Which one? There's so many.
There's so many. But yeah, unfortunately, you know, a place like Florida, I think, has been very divided on it. And my family lives in a very small town relatively, but
still,
I will tell my mom how many cases even at the peak, I was like, yeah, we had 721 cases today. And she's like, you know, we had 7,000 or something. And it's like, yeah, it's not anywhere close in perspective.
I feel like for us, at least, I feel like we can kind of see the end. We can see that it can be eliminated from the country, but with over 6 million cases, like it's going to take a really long time to even get close. And that's what's scary. But yeah, in the timeline of things, here we are now in week 7 of 8, hopefully. So stage 4 lockdown was 6 weeks, and then they extended it another 2 weeks because the cases aren't low enough. And they said the average has to be between 30 to 50 cases until, like, if for them to be able to come out of stage 4, essentially. So it is supposed to end next week, but we don't really know. The way it's looking at the moment, it looks pretty good. I think if it continues this way, we'll
today what
be
there was
okay.
28 cases or something.
Yeah, but what's interesting is they're reporting them very early in the morning now. They used to report them at like
not
midday.
To get into conspiracy theories or anything.
They used to say it in like at midday-ish, but now they're reporting at like 8 a.m. and stuff. So it's like, are they just trying to like make it seem like this? But it doesn't really, I guess it doesn't really matter because you go into the next day. But anyway, and what's interesting is once we're out of stage 4, I think essentially it's going to be stage 3 again for another month till the end of October. But retail is, like, I say retail because it directly like affects me, but apparently retail is going to stay closed for now through this. So retail is going to be staying closed till the end of October, which is pretty insane because they were like so okay with it being open for till like the last minute last time. But basically, including stage 3 and 4 lockdown, Melbourne, only Melbourne. So all the stage 4 is only Melbourne, by the way, if I didn't say that. But all inclusive, if we do get out of it at the end of October, Melbourne would have been in lockdown for a total of 6 months this year, which is pretty long. Like, I didn't realize it was that much even living in it because like every day kind of just blurs together.
Yeah.
And don't know what day it is. Thank you. Someone said my hair looks really nice. But yeah, we would have been in lockdown for a total of 6 months, which is pretty insane for, I think, at this point, 25,000 cases in the country. So I think that's why a lot of people like anti-lockdown, like, I guess if you're looking at international news, we are taking it a lot tougher and stricter compared to other countries when they have a lot less. But I know a lot of other countries are way worse. Like, actually, there was an article of literally being like, hey, Melburnians, we feel ya. And it was from someone in Chile who they've been in lockdown for 6 months now, and they can only leave the house twice a week to get groceries. It's not like an hour of shopping, an hour of exercise a day, twice a week just to get groceries to leave the house. And initially, apparently, like, elderly above 75 weren't allowed to leave the house, like, at all. When you think about if they were like living by themselves, it's like,
it's crazy. Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing, and kind of like the thing I wanted to talk about the most, maybe, today, Vicky. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Vicky. I used to work with her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, co-worker. She moved to Tassie, which lucky you. Like, Tasmania hasn't had cases.
Oh, my family is from.
Yeah, Chile. That's crazy. But the main thing I think is that it has affected mental health for so many people, and I think that's probably obviously physical health to people who got coronavirus, but people who aren't directly affected by the virus but affected mentally, I think is the biggest thing this year. And I did want to make sure all of you guys are okay. I know all of our situations are so different, and for me, I'm not usually a person who has kind of much stress or like things like that, but this year has definitely been tough. Like, even being home now for 2 months. I mean, I say that I've been going to work like once a week, but generally being home, and I was like, yes, this is amazing. I get to stay home. Like, for us, we're getting time to spend together, which is amazing. Like, we're playing catch up because we hadn't been together for 4 years. So that part of it is amazing. But I thought I would be better than I am. And I think initially I was like, yeah, I'm going to do so much content for YouTube. This is great. But it is very hard to find the motivation and hard to stay on track and do what you want to do every day or what you set out to do every day. Because mentally, like, sometimes you can't just like switch it on and or like switch off that Corona is happening. Like, some days I would forget. And I think I actually was more like that during first lockdown, when we'd just spend a day hanging out and we were like watching Netflix, playing games, just like hanging out the whole day. And then until we'd like step outside to go shopping, we'll be like, oh yeah, like coronavirus, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, it's just like a part of life, really. So I hope everyone is okay is the main thing. Just take every day as it comes and don't be so hard on yourself. I think I'm being pretty hard on myself with, like, especially for me with content creation. I thought I would be better during this time, but it has been a lot more challenging than I thought.
She's super hard on herself too.
Ginny.
Hey, you too. Just want to say thank you. I think y'all look great, and I miss you both. Hope you're doing well. Oh, thank you. I hope you're doing well too.
Yeah. From Singapore, Animal Crossing saved my life. No, saved. Animal Crossing has saved 2021 or 20.
Oh, we're going into next year. It's already saved 2 years. My dad is a flight attendant for Qantas and got COVID back in March during his last trip. Luckily, it was very mild, but it was super scary.
That is terrifying.
I had an uncle that got COVID. It was hard because I had to help my mom and the rest of my family stay stable.
That's good.
He doesn't have it anymore, but still. Yeah, thankfully, like neither one of us have had anybody in our
close
immediate family
or work or anything.
Yeah.
I think the closest for me was there was a store like pretty much opposite to where I work. Like it'll take me 20 seconds to walk there maybe. There was a case, or there was like multiple cases within the shopping center I worked at and pretty close by, but that was it. No one at my workplace or no one that I directly know has got it, fortunately. I think, yeah, people were like, oh, my friend's friend or my brother's friend or something.
Yeah, like one of my mom's friends had it, but hers wasn't. She had the loss of taste and smell thing, which is kind of weird. But other than that, it was like, not that it's good, but it was like just a mild kind of flu symptoms and stuff.
Lockdown has proven how much my parents and I don't get along. I think that's really hard. Like for people who have, like, I think it goes both ways. For people living by themselves, it would be extremely hard. I know I wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't have Logan. I probably would have moved back home with my mum and my brother. I just don't, like, it would be so hard. It would be really, really hard.
Well, I would have been a lot more worried about you too.
Yeah. And I know recently in Melbourne they've allowed, because they weren't allowing any visitations, but they changed the rules in Victoria that if you are living by yourself, you can nominate one other person that can visit you and you can visit them for emotional support, which I think is really good and needed and probably needed to happen a little earlier. But for people living by themselves, and then people who are living with people who, like, generally with going to work or going to study or whatever, you probably wouldn't spend 24/7 with them, but during lockdown you had to spend all that time with them. And yeah, like spending too much time with certain people can definitely get a bit.
I love my family, but once this lockdown is over, I'm moving out.
Dude, probably so many people would think that.
Yeah,
I had one of my coworkers like move out during lockdown and move in with a friend, because I mean, for probably a lot of reasons, but I think, like, yeah, for sure, like I think a lot of people will probably be like rethinking everything right now. Luckily, me and Logan live very well together.
Yeah, we don't fight.
Even though we spent 4 years apart, which we kind of knew before living together anyway. But there was no way Logan was going to live here without living with me anyway. And I moved out from home 6 months before you came. I think about 6 months.
Yeah, it had been about 6 months.
6 months. So I had been living with my mum and brother since I came back from Japan. My main reason was I didn't have a room. I didn't have
on the couch.
Yeah, I didn't have my own room, so I decided to move out. And even though I didn't necessarily want to live by myself, because that was never really, like, I don't know, a need for me. I knew that Logan was coming soon. Well, I told him he had to come soon or else. So yeah, I moved out and I was living by myself for 6 months, and then Logan came. So luckily we've had each other And yeah, I think this year has made us think of a lot of things. I think it showed everyone's weaknesses and strengths in a lot of ways, but take the positive things.
Did you got through everything?
I think so.
The biggest thing somebody asked, there was one, how do you find exercising within a 5-kilometer radius? And then somebody just asked what do we do? I don't remember exactly how they asked it, but what do we do? Like, what have we done through it? Like, enjoyed.
Oh, right.
Like, what have we been doing?
Yeah. So exercising within 5 kilometers honestly isn't really a problem. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really exercise until quite recently. We've only been kind of going for runs and walks, and yeah, I'm getting a little bit bored of the area because it's like we're seeing the same stuff like every day. But I don't have a car, we don't drive, so like we have to walk everywhere anyway. Like we could take public transport, but we live in an area that the closest grocer is like less than a 10-minute walk. The second furthest grocer is like 15-minute walk, and there's like a whole strip of like restaurants, cafes, and a couple grocers and stuff like that. So it's been pretty good for us. I think we live in a good location that we can walk to anywhere we need to be. And yeah, I can't run far anyway, so we just like a run.
She's doing good though. She's doing good.
I haven't run in years. So yeah, and then we just exercise inside the house, to be totally honest with you. Just small exercises. We're not buff,
nothing crazy,
like crazy workout people. So that's been totally fine. Things we've been doing to basically enjoy every day, I guess. We definitely spend we want to spend a lot of time together. We're both creative, so it's hard because we want to spend time together, but we also want to work on our stuff as well. I do YouTube, obviously. Logan makes music, so we try to balance that most days. But it is hard because we like work from across the room. It's like, well, we could just hang out and watch Netflix, but we try to keep a balance. But we have been trying to work on like somewhat of a schedule. You can talk if you want.
I mean, well, I was thinking about things you had said. I know coffee has been a little thing for us to enjoy.
Yeah.
Just getting up and making different kinds of coffee, picking out different kinds when we go to the store. I think that's the stuff that will help a lot of people if you try to just find like little things you can do every day.
Yeah. We used to drink instant coffee. I know you're all gonna hate me because I live in Melbourne and drink instant coffee, but but it's mochona. It's good. But we bought a little drippolator and a filter, like filters, and have been dripping our coffee, which has been nice. I know for a lot of people, like hanging out with your pets, like I'm so jealous, and I've never had like a cat or a dog, unfortunately. But Logan misses his pup so much.
Little Pip. I had a little dachshund back home. He's 10 now. So he's kind of at that age where it kind of sucks being apart from him because you know, dogs get older quick. But I think other things we do is, even though we, separate to work on the stuff we want to work on as far as YouTube and music, is we make sure to have certain meals together. Like we always eat dinner together. Usually have our coffee together. I usually take a little longer because I like to watch anime before I get started on my day.
I was going to show a picture, but...
Yeah, there's my little pup back home. Well, my mom's puppy.
Little Pippi.
That's Pip. Does Logan sing? I do, not well, but
You do.
I do sing. Yeah.
He does. He raps. He sings. He raps. But
rap, sing, make.
Will Logan? It's just Logan. No, Logan Lindsay can party. I'll type it so you guys can know the spelling. But if you want to check out his music, please do.
But one thing I've been doing too is actually for Tina's videos, I've been making the instrumentals that play with all of her videos. So
that's how you spell his name, and that's how you can. I spelled it right. Lindsay.
Yeah, he's spelled it right.
You can find him on Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitch. So you go by. No, is that your Twitch name as well?
Yeah. Just everything is what Logan LC Harding.
LC Harding.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been making my instrumentals for my videos, which is really cool. I don't have to like find a artist and make sure it's copyright free and stuff, which is really good. You have a pillow pet.
What pillow pet do you have?
Wait,
Jenny knows about this pillow pet.
Wait, is that Jenny?
No, she just said so humble, Logan. But she's about to have a throwback. Anime, what are you watching? Oh wait, I'll let you.
We have pillow pets too. These are our pillow pets. This is Pluto, this is mine, and then this is Dumbo, Logan's. And funny story, I actually gifted this to Logan before we were even dating, back when we worked at Disney. Yes, that's how we met, by the way. We need to do like a couples stream and answer all the questions. But Dumbo is his favorite, so we've got pillow pets too. They are great. We've had them for a while now, like 5 years.
5 years, wow.
Throwback. Sing for us now.
Oh, they have a panda one and the unicorn one.
Ooh.
Pandas are my favorite animal, just to let you know.
Your favorite animal?
Pandas and turtles.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I mean, yeah, almost.
Dumbo, my all-time favorite movie. The same.
It's his favorite Disney character. Vlog channel. I know. Don't bring it up, please. I know I haven't been putting anything up on my vlog channel, but Logan actually was offering to edit them for me because I actually still have footage.
So if you guys are interested, I said I would edit her vlog. She has so many. How many do you have films? Probably
anywhere between 10 to 20, I think.
Yeah, and I said I would edit them for her just to help her out, and I'll put them out. So if you guys are interested in that, you gotta let her know.
For me, like, obviously my vlogging channel does not get very many views. I used to put vlogs on my main channel, but like, you know, data shows that sticking to my main content was definitely a better idea. My channel grew more from that. But I did a lot of vlogging when I was in Japan. Obviously, there's still a lot of footage that I haven't edited that is a few years old now. Okay, well, I guess you're going to have to edit the vlogs. So, yeah, and editing takes so long for anyone who's never done it, especially vlogs.
Apartment tour.
It
take 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's very small. But yeah, like for me, it was taking longer to edit the vlogs than my main channel videos. And they were getting like a very smaller percentage of views. And I still wasn't getting enough of my main channel videos out. That's why. And with working full time as well, like it was just near impossible for me to get out that much content. So, but if you guys want to, I can't talk anymore. If you guys want to see it, I'll get Logan to edit them.
I have a Dumbo doll of Mama Jumbo.
Oh yeah, she wants to know
now. Oh, what?
That's cute.
Dumbledore
Mama.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
That hits home for me.
Yeah,
so.
Especially the mama part.
Yeah. Still want to know about this anime.
Yeah, she said, "What are you watching?"
Well, I watch Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece. Those are like my go-tos when I'm just chilling. But I've gotten Tina into watching. We watched
Parasite.
If anybody's ever seen the Parasite anime, Tina's been watching Detective Conan.
Well, yeah, Conan's a classic. I just love it. And I've been watching, what is it, Little Witch Academia?
Little Witch Academia.
By myself.
I tried to get her into Cowboy Bebop because that's a classic.
We'll go back to it. I will watch it. It's just because it's on the hard drive. Isn't it harder?
Yeah, it's a little harder.
Yeah. I really want to watch the new one on Netflix. What's it called? The Great Pretender.
Great Pretender.
The art style looks super cool. We've been meaning to watch Tower of God for
Tower of
ages
God,
because
yeah.
Stray Kids does the theme song. So I'm
Mhm.
like, yes, I'll watch that. But Logan's watched a wide array of anime. Like,
Yeah, I've watched most,
he
or at
can
least
list-
some of everything you've like heard of, I guess. So,
Chainsaw Man.
well,
sounds like Parasite. Yes,
I haven't.
Initial D.
I do read manga. I actually have Chainsaw Man on my list because I have the Shonen Jump app.
I'll get back to the thing about long distance relationship. This is turning into a couple.
Okay, yeah. I'm getting off topic. I'm taking over the.
Great Pretender is fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I'm an anime otaku too.
He reads manga as well. He reads it on the tablet. And tell your recent story of your
Darker Than Black. Dude, okay, not a lot of people have watched that, but like my brother and me, that's one of our favorite anime of all time. So I'm glad somebody else can appreciate that.
Okay, I think we need to do like a otaku live.
What was my
with
story?
Logan.
Yeah, real quick about
Most
manga.
recent manga that you read.
Okay, so I had Tina pick me out something to read just based off of a title, right?
And no, you know how we did it. You said pick a letter in the alphabet.
Oh, pick a letter.
So I chose T.
T. And then I showed her two different
titles.
ones. There was Tokyo Shinobi Squad, I think, and then Time Paradox Ghost Rider. And so I started reading Time Paradox Ghost Rider. I don't know if anybody's read it. It's really good. You should check it out. However, I was like, what, chapter 10 or something? And I told her
and you were loving it. You were like, you chose such a good one, baby.
Yeah.
This is so good. Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
and
oh, I have
that
to read
morning, I go, man, I really hope it doesn't get canceled because all my favorite ones seem to get canceled. I've been reading Samurai 8, if anybody's read that, but then it got canceled. So I was reading this. Literally, we're laying in bed doing our, she's playing what? Tsum
and
I was reading manga and stuff. But then I got on Twitter and I was just, scrolling, and they posted and they said the last chapter of Time Paradox Ghost Rider comes out on Friday, and they canceled it after 14 chapters, and I was livid. I was so upset, and I was like, I literally just told you I hope it doesn't get canceled.
Yeah.
And it got canceled.
But I guess for anyone, it's a good one. Like, all of them got canceled. Well, how many chapters?
14.
So it's 14. Like not a super long read, but if you're interested, apparently it's really good.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
So
because of COVID? Nah, it wasn't COVID. You just check it out.
Japanese audience's perception of what the content was.
Yeah. There was a lot of like misconception of, but it was more popular in Western audiences than it was in Japan. So
but yeah, someone asked, I think twice, about tips on long distance relationships. Oh, I'm not gonna get too far into it because I feel like I feel like one, we need to do an otaku live, and then two, do like just a relationship one. But I'm gonna keep it short. Basically, the only things you need, I don't know. The number one thing is trust and communication. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's essentially like the two things you need and the two things you can rely on. Mm-hmm. You just have to 100% trust the other person, or else it's not going to work. I know a lot of people like, oh, long distance doesn't work, or I can't do long distance, blah, blah, blah. Anyone can do it if it's the right person. You'll be able to do it. You just have to have enough of a will to keep it going. Mm-hmm. And obviously you have to trust the other person because you can't be by them or you can't see them, and you don't know. Well, I say you don't know what they're doing 24/7, but I feel like we knew. Like every time we were hanging out with a friend, every time we were going somewhere, doing anything, we would tell each other. Yeah. So that's the other thing, communication. You just have to talk all the time about everything. I remember especially when I lived in Japan, because of me working and the time difference, it was very hard for us to talk because as I was getting up, Logan was going to sleep. And then as I was going to sleep, Logan was getting up. So it's really hard with the time difference. But literally, we would talk as I got ready for work. No. Yes?
Yeah, usually talk when you were getting ready
for work. Talk while I walked to the train station. And then you can't be on the phone in trains in Japan. So I would hang up once. And then when I got off from the train to walk to work, I would call him.
And sometimes, like you say, talk, But literally sometimes, just so you guys know, we would just like
be connected.
And I might go about, you know, whether it be getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth, that sort of thing, but just having the phone on, just because you don't get that time together. So it allowed us at least to be, you know, somewhat connected.
So you might even, and also like, I think the last time I could ever talk to you before you went to bed was during my lunch break when I was working. And let me tell you, it's not that easy to call during a lunch break and working in Japan. For me, it was very hard. Like here, it's not a problem. Like I even call you. Sorry. Even now, I call him on my lunch break, like when I'm like down the road, and like I can be on the phone in the break room. Doesn't matter. But in Japan, it's very different. It was like a cafeteria, and like I would have to hide into the corner and be like, "Hey, baby." And also like if my coworkers were there just out of like decency and, you know, especially they were senpai, like I would have to eat lunch with them even though I didn't particularly want to, or I would excuse myself earlier just so I can go talk to Logan. But those like, you know, cultural things, like so many times I'd be on the phone to you and then a senpai would come walk in. I'd be like, okay, baby, I have to go. Senpai's coming. I'd be like, oh, let's go to some of this, like, and have lunch with them. So, yeah, but even just for like a second to say goodnight. But I'm getting off topic. I think, yeah, we'll do more lives. This is fun.
I think that's, you know, I'm trying to think like we actually talked about this the other day when we were taking a walk.
France and Japan. Yes, keep it going. You can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. That's the biggest thing is like I think you have to believe in it, that it can work and that it will work. We talked the other day, and like I think to get into the hardest aspect of it is when you are having a hard day or a bad day, and sometimes you don't want to talk to anybody, but then that person is, you know, the only person you talk to about tough stuff, but yet you just don't feel like talking. The best thing is literally to just say that and say, hey, I don't feel like talking today. You know, it's just not right, not in the right mental space, whatever. And you have to not, because you know it's only going to lead to a fight, or it's only going to lead to like, what did I do? Did I do anything? Did I whatever? And you just got to like take that.
And especially if you can't be there, you can't really read emotions. Although when you get to know each other very well, you can kind of tell even over video. But yeah. I don't know more really. But yeah, so I think this I think we'll end the live because it's been a while.
Yeah.
And we're definitely way off topic, but
that's what happened to the Trigun anime. I've talked Tina's ear off about Trigun, so
it's funny because I don't remember.
No. I've even referenced it in my music. So
there you go. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining. This was super fun.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I think there's plenty of topics we can talk about on lives. And I'm going to note it down. So I think it'll be fun if maybe during lockdown, or at least, you know, could be over soon. But maybe once a week we can do a live, and then once a week I'll upload a video. I don't know. We'll see. But obviously there's got to be like
I've tried to talk her into doing lives with you guys. So you all should be thankful to me.
Also, I was like, I don't know if I should keep doing lives on YouTube or Twitch. I kind of want to get into Twitch. Logan streams on Twitch. He games on there. I like gaming too. I think it'll be fun. I'm not a huge gamer. I'm not gonna not at all. But I think it would be fun. Time for lunch. Yeah, no, 12:30. I haven't eaten anything yet.
No, we gotta.
So we'll do like an otaku and like an anime manga live, because I feel like a lot of people are like that, and it's where Logan flourishes, obviously. Twitch is much better for lives. Logan the MVP. Also, I feel like we'll do like just like a relationship couple.
Yeah.
It's actually like, I don't know, maybe especially right now there are more people in long distance relationships with COVID, or like just not being able to
out of like requirements.
So we'll do like another live like that, and I'll just do a general live for like all your beauty concerns. If you would like, if you have any other live suggestions, please live music with Logan. Yeah. Or you can literally, he'll he'll be on pretty much every day on Twitch.
Yeah, I make music on Twitch too.
Yeah, he'll
so.
like, he shows his process of making beats, and also games on Twitch. So definitely check Logan out if you are a Twitch watcher.
And you'll have to. Tina is actually on a few of my songs. So
not like enough, but I guess,
but there's a couple.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to hear her, you know, she's here and there.
Mm.
She's an incredible singer. If you guys don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I make music, but she's a very talented singer.
Thank you. But yeah, so we'll hopefully do more lives. It was very fun. Getting back to the whole topic of the live, I hope you guys are all safe. Take care of your physical health as well as mental health during this time. Enjoy the small things, no matter what it is. Listen to your favorite music, play your favorite game, have your favorite coffee. Like, those small things really do help. I also think it's a good time to like reconnect or communicate to people. I'm probably a little guilty of not doing that enough. I see my mum like every week essentially, but like my brother, I honestly haven't talked to in a while. So take this time, if you do have time, to talk to people, talk to your friends, talk to family, and make sure everyone's all good. I really hope this thing can go away soon. And for anyone who's going through like lockdown, thoughts are with you guys. We are experiencing it, although I know it's different in every situation. I can't talk for anyone's feelings or anyone's situation. So just take care of yourselves, really. Anything else you would like to say?
I just want to say that you have like the nicest.
I know.
I always say this to her, but you guys are like the nicest fan base, like group of people. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was super nice. Yeah, fingers crossed on Mel getting out of lockdown. Kind of. Yeah. I'm like bittersweet about it.
Yeah.
Because I get to be at home, but I won't be able to if we go out of lockdown. But I would rather much life get back to normal, kind of. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you guys again soon. If you have not subscribed, I would really, really appreciate if you do. I mentioned earlier in the live, but I'm going to get myself a much needed new laptop when I hit 20k. So it is my motivation. If you guys subscribe and get me to 20k, hopefully it's soon, and I can get a new laptop. Yay! And we'll see you guys in the next one. Yeah. Oh, massive double chin. All right.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Mwah. I'm going to do this and you're going to end the stream.
All right, I got you.
Bye. End.